I have always wondered why people were dirt poor starting out, and then they became celebrities and their fortunes changed. What happened? Well, I'm here to tell you. In this and other videos in this series, you will find out. In the late 90s, I noticed that Neptune and Pluto were in tandem in the cosmos, 60 degrees give or take. Even though Neptune takes around 150 years to go around the zodiac, and Pluto takes around 245. Around the early 40s, they started to form a master yod, as I call it, hanging out 60 degrees apart. How does that work, you ask? Most orbits are not circular. They are oblong, and they go through some signs quicker than others. For Neptune and Pluto, the farthest planets from us, they have been doing this for about 80 years. A sextile, or 60 degrees apart, creates what is called a yod, or inconjunct, which is 150 degrees from both planets on the other side of the chart. It is called the finger of God point, as if God is pointing and is showing us the answer. We just have to figure it out. This series will show which planet the God point is aimed at any given time in a chart to see how we can use this information to plot our future. Liz Cheney is a law and order gal. We can see that as she has comported herself in the last few years, taking on Donald Trump. She has the finger of God point close by Saturn, indicating that it is her guiding planet. Justice matters, as Glenn Kirschner always says, and he is a Capricorn. Of course, Saturn is the Capricorn planet. Planet or sign, that is their motto. In fact, Saturn was her guiding planet at birth until she was 36. During that time period, she married Phil Perry in 1993 and had 5 children. After law school, she worked at a law firm for a short time, and then she was appointed Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for Near Eastern Affairs, and apt an appointment, as the point energized Jupiter, which we know rules foreign cultures, politics, and let her put some change in her pocket. Sometimes Jupiter gives us a chunk of cash, and other times just a shift, where one's money stretches to encompass the month instead of not. Saturn also represents Dad, of course, and with Chiron nearby, he is her wound that she works on in each lifetime. She probably has daddy issues, big time. Who wouldn't with Dick Cheney for a dad? He has been called Darth Vader. Did you see Saturday Night Live in November 2022, where they parodied her life with him? She was termed tough and with a spine of steel with that upbringing. I imagine Donald Trump was a lightweight in comparison. The point bounced off Saturn for a long time in her chart, till birth to mid-90s, before she could come up for air, as the finger of God point went over Venus, Mars, and then Jupiter, when she got into politics herself, and probably money flowed. The quicker planets have their influence, but we are looking for the next slow planet, which is Jupiter. The God point went over Jupiter in 2002, and she was seen as her own person, not Dick Cheney's kid. We can conjecture that because Saturn ruled her life such a long time, she really can't trust the universe now that it has her back. But this is the time when the universe reverses the course and after stressful times, there's a light on the horizon. She might still feel she can't trust that it will come through for her after all those years pinching metaphorical pennies. We are talking finances here, not the machinations of political intrigue that she's involved with now that Jupiter has her embroiled in natural politics. If you have noticed you've become a political junkie, you might want to see where Jupiter placement is, because if you are not involved on the national level, it's a good bet you started following politics when the point triggered your Jupiter. At birth, her God point pointed to mid-Aries close to Pallas. Remember, in Kanye's video, Pallas energy can be genius with a photographic memory, or Asperger's, or mental issues. Liz has undoubtedly a keen mind. In 1984, the point moved into Gemini, where Saturn and Pluto conjuncted when she was 18. It probably was a hard time for father and daughter. In 1996, the point moved into Cancer. That was a good time for her with Venus and Jupiter. Maybe iffy with Mars, when her temper may have been triggered. But it can be assertiveness, too, trying to plot her future. In 1999, the point went over Venus and over Mars in 2001. In 2002, she became Deputy Assistant Secretary for Near Eastern Affairs, a job that was created for her. She resigned to work with the Bush-Cheney re-election campaign in 2004. In 2005, she returned to the State Department as Principal Department Assistant Secretary for Near Eastern Affairs. In 2007, she signed on to Fred Thompson's campaign, but after Thompson dropped out, she joined Mitt Romney's campaign as Senior Policy Foreign Advisor. In 2009, with William Crystal, she launched a nonprofit, Keep Americans Safe. In 2012, she signed on to Fox News as a contributor, but moved to Wyoming so she could make a run for the Senate. Her role in politics was assured, yet the Senate was not to be for her, as the universe had other plans. In the Obama years, she became the darling of the Republican Party as the point went over her sun sign and escalated to the heights to be the House Republican Conference chair. That waned when she started criticizing Trump when he came into power, as the point started moving towards Pluto's with power struggles and intrigues galore. In 2023 now, the point is closing in on Pluto and Uranus as Pluto starts to go into Aquarius in 2023. The point has a while to go, though. If she runs for president in the short term, she will probably not win. The point at Pluto seems to be power or powerless. For those who covet the presidency, it is power if they are destined for it, and power if you play your cards right. But those who have played with fast and loose with narcissistic power plays can have their power challenged, which makes Trump's win that much more suspicious. In Kamala Harris's chart, Uranus is in front of Pluto, indicate she may ascend to power in a dramatic way. In 2022 and 23, with Saturn schmoozing the midpoint of the odd, and the three of them are zeroing in the last degrees of Leo, times can be tough. Being in the fifth house of kids and love affairs, hopefully the power struggles are confined to the Republican Party, Pluto being part of the yod. Yet, they aren't zeroing in on Pluto yet, with Saturn in this position. That may give her a glancing reprieve.